we equate patriotism with blanket approval of President Trump. No, that doesn't make you patriotic. It makes you a sycophant. The left often equates Trump's support with being anti-American. What? How do we become so divided over, like the American flag? On September 11th, 2001, you had senators from both parties singing God Bless America together on the Capitol steps, and I think some of them were sincere. For several months after 9/11, the country was largely on the same page. And that's the last time we were anything near identifying ourselves and each other as Americans. Too closely on the heels of 9/11 came the controversial Iraqi war and weapons of mass destruction. And the national split over the war was instant and it was deep. The left couldn't wave the flag and risk associating it with support for Bush's war. And as a result, it became the right's cause to support the flag and the troops because the left wouldn't. And that dichotomy is stuck. Now the left is like a teenager who is totally embarrassed to be with their dad. Yeah, Dad, I enjoy the benefits of living under your roof, and I like acting, interacting with you and stuff, but when we step a foot outside the house, okay, I don't know you. Jonah Goldberg put it like this in a recent National Review. He said, quote, I spent a lot of time arguing conservatives should not imbibe too deeply from the bottle of nationalism, but it should be noted one of the reasons many conservatives have decided to get drunk on nationalism is that so many liberals have cut patriotism from their diets. Pride in American accomplishments should not be a partisan affair. Isn't that why you can trust Donald Trump going to see Kim Jong-un by himself in a room and you're okay? Barack Obama would have done the same thing. He would have been outraged. Why? Because half the country thinks you don't love the country. He's not patriotic. He doesn't love the country. He's not putting American first. Now, it's the opposite. Now the other side thinks that the president is too pro-America. It's a mess. I mentioned in the book a study published last year in the Scientific Reports showing the effects on the brain when people are confronted with political statements that contradict their own belief. Basically, the study found that we stop thinking and let the emotional part of our brain take over. When confronted with statements that reinforce an opinion different than ours, rather than being open to change or persuasion, our position hardens. We dig in. We are too emotionally invested in being right to be open to a different thought. In other words, we're not even thinking anymore. Literally, we're not thinking. We have calcified into our positions. Partisanship is turning us into brain-dead zombies. So what do we have to do? How do we even fix this mess without lowering the flag, without, giving in or giving up? Well, if we're going to save this country and the West, we have to make a commitment to respect other people no matter how they treat you. I'm not saying you have to agree with them or anything like it, but we have to treat others with the same respect that we want from them. This is key. We can't be hypocrites. Second, we need to remember that underlying all of our surface arguments with the other side, there is a bedrock of principles on which Americans do agree. And if they don't agree on those certain bedrock principles, well, then you don't need to reconcile or include them at all because you're never going to convince them. These are the enduring values that have been tested through time and provide, even during the worst of times, e pluribus unum, from many, one. That's engraved on our coins. Forget about God we trust. It's one. We come from many ways with many different things and many different beliefs, and we become one. And we become one around this idea that all men are created equal and that they were endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's our unum. That's what brings us together. The individual freedoms enumerated in the Bill of Rights. Even if sometimes we don't agree on the interpretation of those rights, that is what always made us American. That is what brought us home to one another. If we don't start living those and learning them, knowing them, there's no chance of survival.